A good game, good performances, but terrible refereeing, poor refereeing. I can't say terrible. It did get some things right, but poor refereeing, substandard. So let's unpack there. So match was at a deadlock, 0-0. Manchester United definitely the better of the two sides, even from the first half. It wasn't a one-way system. First of all, Carrick, criminal that he doesn't start Shesko. Man's on form. I mean, as soon as the camera goes on to Shesko, commentators are talking about, oh, this has got 1-0 Shesko all over it, which I thought was BS. It hasn't got 1-0 written all over this game. I mean, it was a very, very attacking game. And we saw that in the second half, right? Four goals in the second half, hit the woodwork, should have got more penalties. Anyway, but it was very, very clear that this game was made for Shesko. He doesn't start. First mistake for Carrick. We then get somehow we get a penalty from Cunha. Brilliant play, cuts inside, intricate. Gets brought down, quite rightly so. We get given a penalty. Bruno steps up, and to be honest, he was never missing, was he? 1-0 United. And then Ahmad, again, brilliant play from United. United on the up. It was just a foregone conclusion, you know. We were just going to attack wave after wave. Ahmad gets the ball, cuts inside. Big push on Ahmad. He falls on his ass on the ball. Referee is there and waves play on or doesn't say anything. Absolutely ludicrous. Why? A, we have just been given a penalty. And it's bad enough we get a penalty against the home team, but 2 penalties? Oh, inconceivable. I still remember R9, Ronaldo, scoring 3 goals for Inter Milan, all 3 penalties. Why don't we get in the Premier League? Clear as day. In the same action, Bournemouth score. Go to the other end and Bournemouth score. Now, it's just an irony, but from a United perspective, it's not like, oh, we were completely disheveled and etc. Yeah, we continued to play and it was a good Bournemouth attack, but Harry Maguire opens his legs, right? Leaves a big gap and the ball goes between his legs. It opens and then he looks away. What sort of defending is that? I've been hearing in the media that Maguire has been touted to get another contract till 2028. Just bloody get rid of him, mate. He's been so shit for United for so many years. Yes, he's good. He's had good games, and when he's good, we've kind of attacked and won, and he can be very good on set pieces. We'll come to that in a minute. But defending, having to run back and defend, that is not him. If we are playing a low block against a team who has a lot of possession, fine. Bournemouth are a pressing team, but they don't keep the ball necessarily very well. They'll harass you, they'll harry you, they'll get the ball back, they'll attack, but they don't keep the ball very well. So consequently, United do have to push up and push back and be very, very mobile. So he was always going to struggle. So then 1-1, but we attack again. And from a set piece, look, Bournemouth have conceded the most set pieces in the Premier League, and United have scored the second most. So set pieces were always going to be part of this game. We scored from the first goal was a set piece, was a penalty, right? And the second goal, corner from Bruno. and it ended up being a own goal from pressure from Harry Maguire. Sure. 2-1 up. Guys, I know we can never cruise, and I said that at half time, right? I wanted it to be 2-0. It should have been 2-0, but for the refereeing, 2-1, you know, anything can happen, but we were cruising when I say in terms of, you know, chances and attack, except and our attacks, etc. But Bournemouth get a chance, and Harry Maguire, in his infinite wisdom, decides to use two hands onto the player, push him away. I don't want to exaggerate, but it was it was a Stonewall penalty, like ours was also. Right? That was also a shove. This one was a shove. And he not only gives a penalty, but because he was the last man, he gets a red card. And that's where the game turned on its head. Manchester United concede a penalty and a red card to Maguire in a game that they looked all but destined to win. So this draw, us not winning, is firmly on Harry Maguire, and for me, it's also on Michael Carrick. For continuing to pit this Maguire and continuing to not make any changes and not put Shesko on. Shesko came on around the 70th minute. I don't know the exact timings, but probably 72 minutes Shesko came on in a game that he should have started. Michael Carrick, what on earth are you doing, mate? What's with the late substitutions? Shesko, they started showing him up, like warming, etc., by the kind of like 52nd minutes. And it took him another 20 minutes, Michael Carrick, to make the change. And I can't forget that he was part of that squad with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who just hated making substitutions. I don't get it. I don't get it. And that's it. The match was killed there. United was still the better team. Commentators were just stupid, saying that, oh, if you gave United the 1 point here, they'll take it. No, we were still very much on the attack, but of course, a man down, it's a lot tougher to maintain the attack. Excuse me. So anyway, we ended up not going anywhere and getting a draw, but ultra disappointed. We had such great momentum. I'm happy with the team otherwise. It's been a decent performance. Not the best. Our final ball, our final decision making, the final finish was just not good. So let's get into the player ratings for me. Sen Elements, look, he didn't do much wrong. He had a few saves, but he conceded 2 goals. I'll give him a 6.5. I think he was slightly above average. Look, he conceded a penalty, and the other ball was a shot between Harry Maguire's legs that literally went into the side netting. So very, very unfortunate. But at the same time, I think a little bit critical the fact that he came to United with a very good record on the penalties, and he doesn't get anywhere close to any of the penalties that from United. It was nowhere near this penalty, although it was really well taken. So I think he can improve. He should improve, because in the Premier League, generally, especially as we keep on playing better and keep on getting better and keep adding better players, he won't have to do too many saves, but when he'll be called upon, he'll have to produce them. And one big area is penalties, because we defend aggressively. We've got aggressive defenders, although the one from today with Maguire was not necessarily aggressive defending. It was just stupid defending. But anyway, we can concede penalties, and I think if Senelamans is to get better, that's probably one of the areas he can and should improve. But that will come with a bit of time and getting used to the players and doing a little bit more research, etc. I remember David De Gea was not particularly a great penalty goalkeeper, particularly a great goalkeeper of penalties, but he improved that part as well. Anyway, 6.5 for Le Mans. Dalot, probably a 6.5 again. I thought he was okay. He overlapped a few times, but just not enough penetration for me. Our wing backs just lack the quality. I mean, I'm not necessarily asking for Maicon on Dani Alves, Roberto Carlos kind of performance, but guys, you know, we should be able to cross very, very well. It's something that Gary Neville did very well. Dennis Irwin, Patrice Evra. I mean, they're not the most complicated of balls, and we'll get on to Shaw in a minute. But there's just a lack of consistency. But he did okay this game, Dalot. So 6.5 for him. Lenny Yoro, I thought he was combative. He put himself about. And he didn't necessarily need to do much because it was just an end-to-end game. So I think from his side, it was an okay game. I'll give him an average score of 6.5. I'll be even a little bit generous. Why not? If Dalot's getting 6.5, did Lenny Yoro have a worse game? I don't think so. 6.5 for him. This wasn't the match really for him to necessarily come out, etc. We needed to have players to in place for their counters, and I thought Lenny Yoro did well. His colleague, on the other hand, Harry Maguire, well, 75 to 80% of today's scoreline is on him. And so for me, he gets a 2. Gets a 2. He was at fault for both goals. He didn't do much else. He gets a 2 because he had a slight contributory hand in the own goal that Bournemouth score, but he didn't do much. I mean, he was present. He didn't do much. Put the pressure. So I can't give him too much. Otherwise, he'll probably end up with a 0 or 1. But he gets a 2. Very, very poor performance, and reminded everyone, me included, and hopefully the manager included, that he's capable of a disaster. You know, if you're playing the wrong kind of team, Harry Maguire's not your guy. Get him to be moving up and down that pitch. No, he's not your guy. And then Luke Shaw, fellow England player. I wonder what will Tuchel decide for both of them. Luke Shaw for me was less effective than Dalot on the right, because he did overlap. He didn't make many blunders necessarily. He didn't blunder, Luke Shaw. But you can see, and he tackled really well. But he just lacks that quality in the final third. Bruno typified it in the last kind of like few minutes, the stoppage time. We had about 10 minutes of stoppage time. Bruno gave him the ball a couple of times, and he hits the first man. I mean, what do they practice? It's the modern day footballer, modern day fullback, has to be able to produce defensively as well as attacking. And so I'm disappointed really with Luke Shaw's delivery, even though I thought his tackling and his defending was on point. I'll have to give him an average performance of 6. Now we get to Casemiro. Bit of a quieter one. This Casemiro, he was combative, won his duels. So he wasn't bad, but a little bit quieter on the set pieces. I was really hoping he gets his third match in a row, scoring his third match in a row. but it wasn't to be. And a little bit of a game to forget for him, because as the game progressed in the second half, etc., they started to skip him a little bit. He was also not offered the help from Kobe Mainu. We'll get on to him. So Casemiro, I'm going to give him an average score of 6. Kobe Mainu, again, you know, some intricate passing and good looking play when he's in possession, but out of possession is poor. Very, very poor. Looks very heavy. He looks like he does not want to track back. He doesn't want to run back. He's not hungry to close down, to tackle, to retrieve the ball. We've got an issue there. And I hope United fans start using their brains as opposed to just their heart. He's a Man United academy player. He's a local lad from Manchester. But this guy, Kobe Mainu, is not a world beater. He's not a Pogba. He's not a Dembele. And of course, he's certainly no Paul Scholes or Bruno Fernandes. So he's going to have to improve a lot. He does have potential, but he's not showing it. And he's playing every game, right? What has he done since Michael Carrick has come in? What has Kobe Mainu done that we were so critical of Amorim not playing him? Casemiro has still been better than Kobe Mainu. So that's an issue. So for me, for this match, Kobe Mainu gets a 5.5. He was not necessarily directly involved in any of the goals that we conceded or scored. But yeah, just a game for him to forget. You know, that people keep jumping past him, running past him, doesn't track back enough. He's got to get better. Bruno Fernandes, good performance. Definitely a contender for the man of the match for me. Look, he scored the goal. He produced the crosses. He was eager to get. I hope he gets an assist. Obviously, yeah, that's his assist. He scored a goal. I don't know what else Bruno can do. I don't know what more he can do. He just doesn't have enough good players around him. Yeah, to be honest, he's not even a contender. He's straight out there, the man of the match from a United perspective. 8. And then we go on to Cunha. Not necessarily his best game, but he looked dangerous enough. I like him. I like Cunha. And it was his penetration. He was always going to eventually get his luck against their right back. He cut through. It was his kind of penetration and contribution towards that move that ended up in a penalty, resulting in a penalty, which Bruno converted. So I'm going to give him his flowers for that, a 6.5. Ahmad. I thought Ahmad had a good game. He had a good enough game in terms of ability, etc. Look, he's improving. He's very slender, is Ahmad, right? Like, you can't help you are the height that you are. But it's very slender. Use it to his advantage. I just think it doesn't quite have that, possess that quality on his right foot, which can shoot with precision. If he shoots, it's always wayward, hitting the first person, hitting it straight on, compromises big time on precision. And when he goes for precision, he's just not strong enough. But having said that, I thought he had a good game. He was definitely better than Mbeumo, and I'm glad that Michael Carrick kept him on. But, you know, he should have scored. He should have done better. The final play for him was just not good enough. So he gets the same for me as Cunha, a 6.5. Get to Mbeumo. Playing in a striker mode. Got a little bit more sympathy for him because he's not a number 9. I don't know why Carrick continues to do that. He can play as a number 9, so can Cunha. But you don't want to see those players playing out of position. So I actually think Mbeumo could do with the rest. He had the African Cup of Nations. He's been flat out. Flat out before the the African Cup of Nations. He played every game for Cameroon and flat out since then. The goals have dried out. The assists are not coming. The performance is not great. And we keep playing him in a number 9 position, which is not his own. Just get him out of the firing line. That's where a manager earns his metal, earns his money. And I don't think we're managing Mbeumo well at the moment. Tell you who else we're not managing well at all is Shesko. That guy's raring to play. We brought him on. 5 minutes later, Maguire gets himself sent off. And Shesko must be wondering, what the fuck? There's nothing else to say. Like, what the hell? Shesko comes on. Maguire gets himself sent off. And he's back to just running around. Not getting fed, not getting the ball. Not being played in. I feel for him. This is a match he should have started. And then if it's not going well, guys, then you change. Don't keep 2 left-footed, right-sided players in this team and wonder why you're not scoring goals or in open play. We scored 2 set pieces today against an open Bournemouth team who leave you with ample chances. We dominated this match. What we needed was a finisher. He's on our bench. Why? So just to round up the scoring, I think I digressed a little bit there, but Mbeumo for me gets a 5. And Shesko, who came on, again, I need to confirm the time that he came on, but I seem to recall around 70 minutes. 72 springs to mind. Yeah, it's just a generic 6, average 6. Don't think he could do more. He didn't have the chance to do more. And likewise, neither did any of the substitutes. I can't recollect anyone having any impact. Ugarte came on. He tried to do something. But again, just lack of quality. And then Michael Carrick. Well, Carrick gets a 5. He didn't cost us the goals, but he does not seem to be going with the flow. He's not getting that energy. Right now, Shesko is on a high. The fans are after him. The whole media is after him. Doing well. Ride the wave. Don't try and be stubborn for your own personal reasons. This has been the demise of many a manager, including the last one who left, Amorim. Don't try and overcomplicate and just let it be. Shesko's on a high. Bruno's on a high. Casemiro's on a high. These are the players who are in the media. These are the players who are getting all the eulogies. Put them in. Give them good times to play. He didn't. And then, second half came. And he just didn't put... He put Shesko pretty much at the worst time. So, I don't know what was going on in Carrick's mind. He's got to get that tweaking right. If it's not working, if he continues to not play him, and we haven't broken the deadlock, just bring him on at half time. I don't understand it. You know, Shesko played so well. What does he have to do to start the game? Mbeumo has not been doing well. Either play Mbeumo in his preferred place on the right, of the striker, or give him a rest. One of the two. Don't do both just because you can't choose and differentiate between Ahmad and Mbeumo. So, That's a big shame. That's a huge shame for me from Michael Carrick. Gets a 5, cost us 2 points. And then the referee. The referee bottled that decision, and that changed the course of the game. That completely changed the course of the game. It should have been 1-0 United with Bruno Fernandes standing on that second penalty, which I'm very, very confident would have resulted in 2-0 United, and then we've got a game. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, it would have been 2-0 United, game, set, and match. No, because this is anything could have still have happened with Bournemouth, but we should have had the chance to go to 2-0 up. Not him bottling that decision, Bournemouth scoring on the other hand, and we are 1-0. Very, very poor from the referee. Also a 5. So, this is it. And the fans were brilliant as usual. Away fans, Man United away fans, probably the best in the world for me. I've been part of it. Love our away fans and love our home fans too. But away fans especially because they start really off the streets. I've been to matches and we completely overpower, overshadow, and outsing as away fans the opposition's home supporters. So 10 on 10 from the fans. So all right, so this is it from me, and hope you all have a great evening, great weekend. Mine's definitely not going to be as good. Very, very disappointed, but it is what it is. And we go back to square one. I hope we can get 5 wins on the trot. We don't have too much longer to go for that, for our friend who's waiting to cut his hair. But I certainly hope we get it for him. And I hope we take over City. This is twice now we've dropped points when we shouldn't have had under Carrick. So, yeah, onwards and upwards. Until the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.